Hi, my name is Angela. I'm a CTE teacher, or Career Technology Exploration teacher. And what that means is that we look into students' interests. They're able to come to my class and learn more about broadcasting and filmmaking this year. So we explore their interests, and we've explored a lot related to broadcasting. So I actually had a discussion last year with my principal and supervisor and the other CTE teachers. And we came together to figure out how we could best utilize the TVs that we have in our classroom. We have them in several classrooms, and they've often been there without being used. The purpose is for communication, but the students really haven't been able to access that. So if they want to do something like go to the library, go to the nurse's office, they don't really have that accessible information that somebody in a public school may have, such as morning announcements. That wasn't something that was accessible here. So in having this discussion, we wanted to make better use of the technology that we already had within the classrooms and to use that to exchange information, whether that be something like the sports rosters, maybe different games that are going to be occurring in the next few days that the students could attend, general information about the weather, scheduling changes during the week. And that wasn't something that we were effectively communicating until we realized that maybe using the TVs as part of that could be a more effective solution, as opposed to having spoken announcements like you would normally see in a public school classroom. So we had been in discussion with one job coach who had informed us about the organization Access Framingham and how it is a way of getting news that's local to the area, whether that be different stories or different events. So we decided it would be a really good opportunity for our students to get an idea of what broadcasting might look like from different perspectives, whether that's filmmaking, editing, scripting. And in visiting the studios, the students were really thrilled to learn more about the process. There was one student who unfortunately was not able to make it, so we're hoping to maybe plan another field trip to make sure they all have access, but I think the experience was really beneficial for them to understand what it really looks like to work in a broadcasting field or in a studio. Within the broadcasting field, unfortunately, there's not much access. For an organization to be welcoming to deaf people, I think it's important for them to learn more about deaf culture in the deaf community. There are many resources that have been developed by deaf creators, deaf educators, and I think it's important for them to do some of that work in that way. If they come across a deaf person who is signing, I know oftentimes hearing people feel very awkward and not sure how to introduce themselves or interact with a deaf person, but I think it's important to understand that you don't need to feel that you're being rude by maybe walking between two people who are signing. So just little nuances like that. Reaching out to different organizations that serve the deaf community as well would be important. It might be worth checking in on the resources that you have found and verifying with an independent deaf organization like Learning Center that these are things to be followed. I think considering access, making sure that if you want to conduct any sort of interview or work with deaf people, ensuring that you have licensed qualified interpreters provided, and just making sure that communication is clear and accessible to all parties. I believe representation is really important, and it would absolutely affect somebody's confidence to not feel that they can see that representation across the screen from them. To not feel that sense of affinity with somebody, whether you are maybe a white person or not, cisgender or not. I think too often that representation isn't made a priority. We want to make sure that those of our students who are not white and cisgendered do have some sense of representation. They can feel that they can take on these roles. They know that they're able to look up to somebody who may look like them or have a similar background to them. They can see themselves in those roles and know that they can ultimately do it. Without that sense of belonging, without that same sense of shared identity or culture, I think that can definitely lead to a lack of confidence. Really, I think the goal for them as part of this program is to, again, develop more confidence and comfort with the knowledge that comes in using broadcasting skills. Even if they're at a place where they're not confident yet, the hope is that throughout the year, they start feeling more confident in their ability, more able to take a script written in English and translate it into ASL, and feel confident in signing something in their first language and feeling that this is something that they can achieve. They're able to start the whole process with filming, interviewing, editing, and knowing that they can own every step of this, I think will really help to instill that sense of confidence and optimism.